Hello, this will be a guide on how to hit rank 1 on the Infinite and Hardcore Tower leaderboards, or if you only care about reaching the required floors for the luck index. With a high enough floor count, rolling extremely rare cards like quadrillions and secret moons should theoretically become much easier due to the direct increase in tower luck for every set of floors you climb higher. You do not need secrets or rainbows. Basic cards work because the only thing that matters are the card's effects. We will be focusing on cards that scale infinitely regardless of how high or low the enemy card's stats are. And yes, all these cards will be obtainable. You do not need to use any limited cards. This is the team I currently run. I believe it is the most consistent team right now with the cards we have, but I haven't really looked closely into any of the new 5.0 cards yet, so I may be missing something. You will need to roll for moons due to Lunar Guardian ability. I prefer going for Eclipse Moon as it usually takes only 50 to 250 moon reroll potions. You do not need Tsukuyomi or better. So pretty much this is how it works. Monster 9 will copy and pass off a decent amount of damage and HP from the first enemy card. Awakened Eclipseborn Hawk will lower enemy attack and convert it into a huge HP buff for your remaining cards. The first Lunar Guardian will, on entry, multiply her stats to a crazy amount and kill the first enemy card and pass off 25% of their stats to your final Lunar Guardian. It can potentially kill off the second enemy card too and pass off another 20%. Finally, your last Lunar Guardian will 2 or 3 shot each of the remaining enemy cards. You do not need Demonic Gift on your first Lunar Guardian. Vase of Greed is actually better in some cases, as it can allow your first Lunar to completely solo the enemy team without ever reaching your final card, but it is more RNG. As for traits, you don't really need any, but Blessing on Lunar Guardian will make the run a lot easier.
Here comes the boy.
There are other cards that work and doesn't require Lunar Guardian and Moon rerolls. For example, Combat Giant and Shadow Monarch. Shadow Monarch does not require high attack, just high enough HP to kill enemies. And you can throw in Power Rebirth or Vase of Greed. I do like Binding Vow as some cards will one-shot your final card, and you will want that extra revive. If you don't want to use Lunar or Shadow Monarch in your last slot, you can also go for cards like the new Story Tower Fairy Queen, the Warlord Summoner card, the Almighty, Shield Hero, etc. Fairy Princess 2 will work, but that is a limited card. So any cards that multiply their stats or have strong summons are pretty decent too, just not as consistent as the double Lunar Raid Boss team I came up with. Finally, this is probably the most important tip in climbing as high as you want in infinite towers, and that is re-rolling enemy teams that counter you. This team beats 90 to 95% of cards out there, but for the cards that do counter this team, for example, anti-buffer cards like Defense Force Captain, the Balance, Oni Tyrant if they are in position, Master Manipulator, etc., and of course Princess of Light and first slot nukers like Mother of Creation, you will have to re-roll unless you are okay with wasting checkpoint keys. So what you do is basically just exit the game and rejoin. You will still end up on the same floor, and now you will be facing an enemy team with different cards. But if you don't want to re-roll enemy teams, you can just use some auto-clicker or macro to keep clicking on checkpoints when you lose. But again, this requires wasting more checkpoint keys. I do have a few teams that actually counter these cards, but it requires fixing a card that is bugged, which is Shinigami Illusionist. Their ability doesn't work correctly and has been bugged for 2 months now. Not sure if that card will ever be fixed. It did work the first week, but stopped since. I did find an inferior replacement for Shinigami Illusionist, and it is Esper Prodigy. This card with Eclipse Born can help provide attack to your remaining card. So yes, you can climb to as high as you want, climb to rank 1, or make your floor a goofy number. In theory, since there is no limit to how high you can climb outside of the time spent, your tower luck will also increase crazily alongside it. Rolling quadrillions and secret moon cards from towers should be easy once you reach a high enough floor count. It should take less than 30 minutes per 50 floors in hardcore tower, even if you re-roll the enemy team. Without re-rolling, it should be less than 20 minutes, but you will need to pause every so often to refresh the moon if you run Lunar Guardian. One thing to note is, for your leaderboard score to get updated, you may have to end the run by forfeiting or losing. I'm not entirely sure if this is the case in a public server too, because I remember my score updating without forfeiting when I climbed in a public server, but it wouldn't update until I forfeited or lost in a private server. Final remarks. I'll probably make one last video on Anime Card Clash within the next 2 weeks on PvP ranked any to show the top players' teams and how PvPing in top 50 works. I have to wait until Decay hits my account hard enough first so I can actually get opponents to fight. Right now, the matchmaking sucks since no one is deployed, and if you are too high ranked, you can't attack other players, since the game gives you 0 opponents to attack, but players lower ranked than you can still attack you multiple times within 1 hour. Now that shields are removed, you can say goodbye to your ELO points if you deploy, when no one else close to you is deployed. And no, re-rolling teams by leaving and rejoining does not work in PvP scaled or any. The outcome of a PvP match is determined the exact moment you hit that fight button. Even swapping cards won't work, as it will use the exact cards you had when you pressed fight. Feel free to try and test it out. One last thing, you don't need to spend Robux on bundles or packs. If you complete Battle Tower Final Floor sets, Story Map Final Bosses Daily, 24/7 Celestial Tower, and buy out event shops like Ranked or that Thanksgiving one, not the shitty Christmas one, you can reach at least 150 million instant packs in a month. I do believe luck servers matter when you pop your instant packs though, but I am especially biased since I got both my Frozen Princess and Lunar Hero in a max luck server. And yes, I will specifically shout out to the Only Fountain Luck server. I am not affiliated with them, and I had to spend Robux for luck refreshes to get into their server, but I did get both my crazy hits in it, so thanks for that. There's other servers too, you just have to look for them in the ACC Discord.